Hello! Hello, lovely people. How are you today? It's May. Oh my god, do you know what happens in May? Do you know what happens in May? My birthday happens in May. Oh, I hope you all have that secret surprise party planned that I've been hearing about, because, you know, if you don't, I'll cut you all. Anyway, it is my April book reviews video here today. I have read 4 books. Just like last month I said I'd read 4 books, and I did. I mean, they may be small, but I've read 4 books, so shut up! The first book that I read in April was The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I bought this book about 2 or 3 years ago and I never read it. Father and son walk along a road in post-apocalyptic, possibly America, we don't really know, and they meet very interesting characters along the way. If you don't like books in which not much happens, this isn't really for you. I enjoy things like that. That's why I enjoy Beckett so much. It's a good story. I tried to read No Country for Old Men about a year ago, and I got really put off of it because Cormac McCarthy doesn't use quotation marks or commas or really any punctuation of any kind, and that really annoyed me because I couldn't really understand which was dialogue and which was just normal writing, and it's much easier to understand it in The Road, and maybe now I might go on to read No Country for Old Men. If you like the post-apocalyptic novels, and you like novels in which nothing much happens, The Road by Cormac McCarthy, 4 out of 5. The next book I read is a play, and I didn't really read it of my own accord. I read it in school because I'm studying it for English. Scythe by John B. Keane. John B. Keane has been mentioned in my many years ago, a How to Be Irish video, in which I said the only play that an Irish person has ever seen is The Field by John B. Keane. This is Scythe, this isn't A Field, thus proving the point and the satire of that video, which people don't seem to get, that everything in that video is lies and should not be followed at all. But anyway, Scythe by John B. Keane, the story of a girl named Scythe who is to be married off to an 80-something-year-old dirty old man basically named Sean Dota. It's set in rural Kerry, which is a really country part of Ireland in the 1950s, and the cultural oh god, I just used it. The cultural context of the play is basically matchmaking and the death of matchmaking, poverty and religion and whatnot that were very important subjects back in the 1950s in Ireland especially. I am doing this play for my comparative study, and for people who don't know what that is basically where you get 3 texts and you compare and contrast them in your Leaving Cert examination. Now I'm going comparing this, Scythe and J.D. Salinger's The Catcher in the Rye, and an Italian film named I'm Not Scared, which I can't wait to actually do because it sounds quite interesting to write about. I give this 5 out of 5 stars because it's just so interesting, and John B. Keane is a really famous Irish writer. He's not really that famous in other countries except for Ireland. You mightn't even have heard of him, you probably haven't. But it's just really interesting to see a play written by a man who lived at the time about poverty and, you know, the death of matchmaking in 1950s rural Ireland and whatnot. The next book I read is by one of my favourite authors ever, Kurt Vonnegut's Cat's Cradle. Just look at that cover, beautiful cover. It's one of the Penguin Essentials editions. I highly suggest you buy them. Okay, basically the storyline. Dr. Felix Honecker is one of the fictional founding fathers of the atomic bomb dropped on Japan during the Second World War, and his 3 children are still alive when the novel's being written. Now, the main character of the novel is a man named Jonah. His name is only ever mentioned once, and that's on the first page, so you kind of forget it halfway through. The main plot of Cat's Cradle is Felix Honecker, just before he died, he invented this chemical compound called Ice-9. And an example, I'll try to get the example, because it's kind of hard to explain what it is unless I find the example. Okay, this is on the beginning of chapter 20 on page 32. It's a very fragmented novel. This basically explains what Ice-9 is. There are several ways, Dr. Breed said to me, in which certain liquids can crystallize, can freeze. Several ways in which their atoms can stack and lock in orderly, rigid ways. That old man with spotted hands invited me to think of several ways in which cannonballs might be stacked on a courthouse lawn, or of the several ways in which oranges might be packed into a crate. Skip, 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 skip. Now think about the cannonballs on the courthouse lawn, or about the oranges in the crate again, he suggested. And he helped me to see the pattern of the bottom layer of the cannonballs over the oranges, determined how each subsequent layer would stack and lock. The bottom layer is the seed of how every cannonball or every orange that comes after is going to behave, even to an infinite number of cannonballs or oranges. Basically, Ice 9 is that bottom layer of the cannonballs or the oranges, and if Ice 9 touches water, it's gonna freeze all the water in the world. Okay, I kind of hope that that explains what Ice 9 is. And basically, Dr. Honecker gives 3 fragments of Ice 9 to his 3 children, and the main protagonist is trying to, you know, track down the 3 children and, you know, stop them from freezing the planet. You know, because it's Kurt Vonnegut, it's basically the apocalypse, but as a satire. And, you know, they end up on the little island of San Lorenzo, and lots of weird things happen on that island, mainly because Kurt Vonnegut. And there's, you know, the ending is very odd. And there's a religion, there's an entire made-up religion called Bacchanon, and in the style of Kurt Vonnegut, he like makes up religions, like in Slaughterhouse 5, how he has the Tralfamadorians, and everything was beautiful and nothing hurt. Cat's Cradle, 4 out of 5 stars. You know, it's not Slaughterhouse 5, which I still think is the greatest novel that Kurt Vonnegut ever wrote, but you know, it's almost Slaughterhouse 5. It's Cat's Cradle. Girl Meets Boy by Ali Smith is a modern retelling of the myth of Iphis and Iante from Ovid's Metamorphoses. It's about this girl, it's about this woman who starts working in a bottled water company named Pure, and she falls in love with a kilt-wearing activist one day who is up a ladder graffitiing over the company's billboard, and she can't believe it, but she's a lesbian and she never knew it. This book is kind of split into about 4 or 5 different parts. The first one, like, each one is called like You or Them or All of Us. Basically, my favourite part is her sister, who the entire chapter is basically her going, okay, my sister, oh my god, my sister is a lesbian. Oh my god, what the hell? And then she goes and meets her friends in a pub, and her friends are really, really homophobic, and it's actually just quite funny the way her sister reacts, and it's a really, really good book. I kind of find it hard to explain like the story and whatnot of this novel, so you know, just in the description I'm going to link you to Lena's video in which she talks about Girl Meets Boy. It's her her 5 favourite books of all times video. I own 4 of those books, you know, with so much in common, so much in common. Anyway, Girl Meets Boy, 5 out of 5 stars. It's small, it'll take you, like, if you're a fast reader, that's a couple of hours. It's really nice. Get this, this is a hardcover edition. This was $1.90 on play.com. New. Bargain. And they were all the books that I read in April. I hope you enjoyed my reading material for the last month. I'm currently in the middle of Jeffrey Eugenides' The Virgin Suicides, which honestly is a bit slow. I'm on page around 110 and I'm kind of still trying to get into the story. It's still kind of all over the place. I don't know how I'm going to react to this book, even though everyone who's read Virgin Suicides says it's a modern classic. So yeah. Anyway, until next time, lovely people, bye!